King, a tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant. Give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're burying me, burying me. Yeah, you're burying me, burying me. You've got me at the time. Push me out of myself. You've got me at the time. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me at the time. You've got me at the time. Say you out of my hand again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow. I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You got me at the time. Push me out of myself. You got me at the time. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me at the time.
Please note,
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Pulls a coin in the eye, seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. Tell me the storm is coming, for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Now that I need you anyway. Just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart breaks a beat of down, I cross the line just to let it go. Don't leave the way, don't leave a stay. Then I drown with a shadow playing parade. I feel like I am in misery.
Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging me when I'm lying on the ground. I've got no shelter, I've got no escape. My life is a prison and I can't run away. I feel it in my bones, I'm losing it all. Stuck in my head, I am in misery. Deep inside myself, all I get, my only family. Stuck in the grave, can someone rescue me? I'm burning alive, I got it, I am in misery.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Taking Over on a Wednesday night. Don't watch no AEW Dynamite. We don't care about Adam Cole and Malachi Black anymore. They're old news. We're talking about the new NXT stars and ECW originals because, God, they've never had a fucking time in the sun, have they? Jesus. Our friend Rogers lost, Astrid. Can you tell him where he is? Because our friend Rogers seems like he's very lost.
I don't have an answer for that.
Well, Roger, you're here at our local establishment where we have some pop culture content, we have some wrestling content, we have Marvel content, we have all kinds of fun stuff here. This happens to be wrestling content. Yes, we just got finished watching NXT's weekly television product on the CW network, and we're here to talk about what happened when ECW went extreme.
Wait, ECW went extreme?
No, NXT went extreme.
You said ECW.
Slip of the tongue. God, they said ECW more times than they said NXT tonight. Who the fuck cares? Honestly, Until the main event, this entire show was booked like ECW booked it. WWECW.
Okay.
So it's Billy sitting here saying, what a show. And I'm like, we have vastly different opinions on this show, my dear.
Oh, shoot.
But we'll get into that. The Overlord is here, Mr. Bobby Munson, saying, hello, my wonderful tens. Let's fucking go. It's taking over time. It is indeed. And let's start where NXT started, with a shit ton of promotions. They promoted the 6-woman tag with the 10-woman tag with both teams having their own say. They also promoted both Trick Williams and Bubba having a thing, and Ethan and him having a thing. So much promos. And it carried on to the show. Oh, we have vastly different viewpoints on the opening then.
Oh, shoot.
Speaking of the opening match, let's get to the hardcore match, which was the first hardcore match for the women in NXT history. Now, for those of you going, wasn't Jaida Parker one of these? No, she was in a no-holds-barred match or a no-DQ match. They were very specific on hardcore match because, of course, this was ECW. We are in the ECW Arena, 2300 South Swanson Street. This is the home of ECW, the spiritual home, if nothing else. God, I hated this fucking thing. From start to finish, I absolutely hated almost every moment of this travesty. It started in the first 5 to 10 seconds when Jada beat up Lola right away. That was good. Then she went out and got a chair. That was good too. And then Lola did a spinning back fist into the chair, which is fine. And then didn't sell the fact that she just spinning back fist a steel chair. She then never sold the fact that she did that to the chair the entire match. And more importantly, every time she was supposed to sell, she sold for 2 to 3 seconds and then stopped selling. Meanwhile, they had Jada doing a super... What is she called? The butt drop thing. I know they have a name for it.
They called it, I think it was teardrop, if I heard it correctly.
Okay, the teardrop. She did one off like the 3rd rung of the like tiniest normal ladder I've ever seen. Threw Lola through a ladder for a 2 count. She then, at one other point in the match, took a brick and smashed a brick over Lola Vice's head for a 2 count.
That was surprising.
Only to go ahead and do a triple off the ropes running butt attack, which again has a name that I could give 2 shits about because I was so pissed off at this match at this point. For the win. There were so many cool spots that were just done to do a spot. And nothing really made sense. And other than Jada, nobody really sold for the entirety of the match. And the worst part is, I knew every time that Lola was going to kick out because I've noticed something. When Lola is rolled up for anything less than a 3 count, she shakes her entire legs. Like vibration. Power out the kick out. I swear, if you go back and watch this, every near fall that Lola's involved, that Lola's being pinned on, her legs will literally vibrate before she kicks out. The only time she didn't do it was during the actual pin.
Oh gosh.
Now we're going to get to all of Millie's comments because she has been commenting while I've been ranting. What is the difference between a hardcore / extreme rules / street fight? Because it's all the same. Exactly. They are all the same. They are indeed all of the same. A hardcore match was the rules that were defined by ECW back in the day. And then a street fight is what WWE called it because they didn't want to get kicked off in the air and they thought hardcore was too extreme. An Extreme Rules match is more than a hardcore match, but not quite at the level of a street fight. They're all various forms of the same garbage. But I like the idea of a hardcore match. This just wasn't it, brother man. Millie also said with the bomb, the teardrop through the ladder, that was both cool and dumb. Yeah, dumb. Yeah, like, I'm fine with the move. The move is a great idea. But if you're going to do that, it should probably be a finish and not 10 minutes into your 20-minute street fight. Just says, listen, in the moment I was enjoying it for the most part. Give me a break. Look,
Listen, Linda.
everybody can enjoy something different. We all get to enjoy fun and different things. This wasn't for me. It seemed like spots for spots' sake, which is funny because this was a feud that could have used a really well organized, well told hardcore match. Like, this feud was ready for a big match like this. And then it feels like they just did the thing because they're in Philly. And I get, yes, like, it sounds stupid. It was won by a wrestling move. But you just hit her with a fucking brick. Now, great, it's not a real brick. It was candy glass, colored red to look like a brick. But, like, come on. I don't know. We do have some wonderful raiders from Get the Tables. We have Diamond Dave, who is the co-host of Get the Table stuff. Go ahead and follow Diamond Dave. He does some NFL content. He does his own watch-alongs there when Tony and Get the Tables don't do it. But he's often there with Get the Tables. He is a good friend of the show. We highly appreciate you stopping by. We got Poetic Beauty stopping by. I know Ashley put a bunch of these up, but I'm just throwing it up. It is indeed the CW. I agree, but at the same time, like, I feel like only one is allowed for a pinfall out of the ring. Yeah, that's a Falls Count Anywhere match, which is almost the same, but that's cool because it has a different rule set. In that one, you get to pin people outside the ring, so at least it's actually different. Second Rod says it looked more like a sponge. Probably. It broke. Like, I would have said sponge too until I saw it, like, shatter into, like, 15 pieces. Wilcherson says, to be fair, of the old ECW arches had dumps. Yes, but I didn't like the old EC. Like, I nostalgically look back at old ECW because I was a teenager who this was perfectly, created for at 15, 13 and 16 when ECW was running its heyday in the late 90s. As a 40-year-old man now looking back, I'm like, no, I don't want GCW. If I want GCW and CZW, I'll just watch CZW and GCW. Astrid, you had a more positive note in this match. What do you think?
I mean, I do agree with you on the ending. I didn't like it either because I was thinking when she hit her with the brick, I was thinking, oh, that's it. And then for her to be like have that kick out of 2, only to be hit, but like that like hip thrust that she kind of does, and then get the 3 count for that didn't make sense to me. But overall, I still enjoyed it just because I like that the girls were able to play with everything around ringside. They used everything around there. They were not shy about doing anything. I did like the fact that we get Lola at one point with the submission, and because it's obviously a hardcore match, Jada cannot use the ropes like usually can to get off of it, and she tries in any way, shape, or form that she can't, even like throwing Lola outside to try to get like her to stop, and she does, and she still holds on to it. So I really like those bits and pieces from both of them there. And when Jada's inside the trash can, and then Lola comes in with several kicks to her, so. So I think that was also interesting. But yeah, the end is the part that, like, for me, I would have preferred it if she would have hit her with the brick, and then that would have been the 3 count. Because if you think about it that way, it makes more sense like that than having a 2 count and then do that move and then do a 3 count. That didn't make a lot of sense to me in that aspect of it. But I feel like they did like great overall. I feel like they had like good energy, and the crowd was really into it too. So like for a great opener, so I was like, I'm glad they got that spot.
Also, we can't forget that Lola did her fantastic, and we have to see it every match. I'm a Latina ass in my face thing, so
Yeah.
can't let her forget that.
Yeah.
Thank God Andre's not here,
Mhm.
because although this is going to be a fun clip to play for him when I go ahead and do Marvel Talk. We will record Marvel Talk later on this week. We then move on to Kelani. All right. So I can't tell if she was actually doing the RVD split or if she was just on top of 3 road cases so that she didn't have to worry if she because RVD used to do this on 2 road cases with nothing underneath it. And I know she had one under her, but I don't know if she was above it or just over it kind of thing. And I'm just
a little
like,
bit of both, really.
like, it would have been more impressive if they just done the RVD thing because you can tape this. It wasn't a live promo segment. So you could just tape this to make sure she doesn't fall. But it's a cool spot with her and RVD doing the stretchy thing. I like that. He's giving her some, some publicity. He's giving her, a little bit of that RVD rub. No, not that RVD rub, you know what I'm saying. RVD saves that for women who are much, much, much worse than Kelani Jordynne. What was her name in TNA that used to keep getting them kicked off Twitch? His girlfriend / wife, the one who used to always just throw it back, and that was the only thing she did.
Is it a Katie something?
Katie Forbes, that's the one. Yes.
I knew. I knew it was a
Katie Forbes. Yeah, I'm very happy that they had
Mhm.
Kelani and RVD together. I thought that was. I didn't think about it going in, and then after I saw it, I'm like, well, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that was a nice film. I like how the girls are getting the moments with the male wrestlers because we got that with Cody before with Jacy, and we get enough with her and RVD. So it's like I like those little ones of like the men also inspired us, and I like that the girls get to have those moments with them too and be able to pay tribute to that.
We still need Naomi and Kelani to have some kind of a conversation at some point. Like, I'm not a big Naomi fan. I'm not a big Kelani fan, but like that just seems like that conversation has to happen at some point.
And I hated that they didn't put the Randy and Miles one on screen. They put it for social media, but that would have been great to see it on screen though, to get the reaction from the crowd right there as it's happening.
Yeah. Good, you're digging yourself a hole here to get back on track.
He does that,
We'll see. We'll see if I get back on track. After RVD tells Kelani all kinds of nice things and she walks away, Wes Lee comes in and attacks RVD with a chair. Big question marks. So RVD lays on the ground. The camera pans like 6 feet away. Wes Lee hits the chair on the ground, and then RVD's laying there. This has to be because WWE will not clear him to wrestle, right? This has to be because remember there were rumors when he came back to TNA that he wanted to come back to WWE for Rumble appearances, and WWE had said no, our doctors won't clear you for those, so we're not going to do it.
He has a lot of concussion issues from before too, which I wouldn't risk upon him, so I get it.
Really? ECW guy, concussions? No. That was odd. Just so odd. No, I get it. I understand why it was crap. I just have to call out that it was crap. Like, you could have hit him anywhere else with the chair. You don't have to fake the chair shot. to just hit him in the leg or the back. If you hit him in the back and as he doesn't fall on his head, he won't get a concussion. Javon Evans comes out for his match versus Wes Lee. But first, when we come back from the commercial break, we have the D'Angelo family, not this D'Angelo family, but the other D'Angelo family, outside of, I believe it was Nick's restaurant or something, some kind of, I'm assuming cheesesteak place because we're in Philly, and I think the only restaurants in Philly are cheesesteak places. Well, no, in the Bubba and Trick one, they had Gino's, which I know of. I know Gino's is a fantastic cheesesteak place. So I'm just assuming that this is another one. Because what else is Philly known for other than being terrible, as Robert Stone pointed out, and ECW and cheesesteak? So Sean Spears again tries to talk to Tony D'Angelo. And Tony says, "Are you following me?" And then Nunzio interrupts again with, as I have a dude with Nunzio, because I couldn't for the life of me notice that was Tony Mameluke, because it's been 20 goddamn years and both of them have aged terribly.
I only know Nunzio, so I feel bad because I didn't know the other guy. I had to look at the video to see his name.
So Tony Mameluke is in the original Full-Blooded Italians. But he looks like a dude they just picked up that like works the backstage area.
You fit the profile.
Yeah, you look vaguely Italian and want to be on camera? Sure, you can cut a promo. I'm like, who is this random dude talking to Ava? Why is a random dude calling Ava and setting up matches? What the fuck is this?
Get out of here.
Tony Mameluke sets up a match between Nikita Lyons and Rizzo. Yeah, because that really needed a lot of hard work to set that match up. We hadn't done that on TV last week. And then Nunzio says that Tony has to pay a tax for being in Philly and not contacting him. So he has to defend the North American title against Nunzio. And I said, really? You couldn't find anybody better for him to defend the title against than yourself?
It really stuck up on his haterade today. As you can see, he's drinking it to power up again.
There was so much garbage in this show. Well, you don't have to call out crap. Yes, no, we don't. I know, Bobby. I know you like the idea of putting a positive spin on everything. But geez. I lose credibility when I trash the other wrestling company on Wednesday night for all of their garbage if I don't call out the garbage at NXT. I have to call a spade a spade. Look, when things are good, I'll be more than happy to be positive. No new task. We can do a new show idea. You know what? That might not be a bad idea for me to book a 2-hour wrestling card. We'll get back to that one. Millie with actual comments that matter for this show is at least if they're going to show someone prepping for their match during a match, at least it was for the following match. Yes, I agree. Like, I liked that. That was good. Javon and we then had the match between Javon Evans and Wes Lee. Astrid, what did you think of this one?
I know you're gonna hate it, but I love my flippy stuff, so this was fun for me. The fast-paced flippiness, I'm all for it. Just give it to me. No, I think this was fun between both of them. I think the part that I enjoyed the most was, yes, thank you, Millie. That I enjoyed the most was definitely that ending, because even though we had RVD involved and everything, that bounce that Javon had to do was like more than half of the ring at that point where he landed with Wes. It's like, that was so impressive. And it's like, in the back and forth they had at the beginning too in that sequence, the timing of it was just impeccable. I really enjoyed that too. And again, it was like, we knew that RVD was not going to get involved like too much physically in that aspect. So it made sense the way they did it with Wes and the chair and the back and forth here, and Javon taking advantage of it to get the win at the end. So it definitely didn't surprise me, but I just love the fast pace of this entire thing, and I feel like they did very well with it.
I thought this thing was great. I go back and forth on the flippy dippy shit. Like, for what it is, these two guys have chemistry. They have that it thing that they can work well together. Is it a match I'm going to put on and rate 5 stars? No. But I can see the appeal of this match. I can see how this match was great. I can see the athletic ability in all those reversals. In Wes Lee catching Javon as Javon was trying to do a back handspring into a cutter off the second rope. Like, there are some really cool, interesting wrestling spots in amongst all of the flippy dippy shit that they were doing. And again, just because I don't like flippy dippy doesn't mean I can't see how this is a fantastic match. This match got the crowd going. I was invested. I was watching it. Again, it's not a 5-star classic to me. It's still 3.5 stars because it's flippy dippy and I don't really care. But I thought it told a good story. The guys were going back and forth. They knew what to expect. As Millie said, with the scary side, doing that where Wes had Javon up on the outside for basically just a suplex on the head. And he almost drops him. Catches, like, Javon gets back to the ground. They reset. They do it again. And then it looks like he just dropped someone. And granted, it was exactly how the spot's supposed to look. But after Dragon Lee on Monday night and then Javon Evans on tonight's show, that's a lot of neck spots. But Javon sells it the entire match, unlike Lola Vice earlier. This was a lot of fun. That off the top rope backwards RKO that Javon Evans did was absolutely sensational. And then they did the RV stuff, and I'm just like, don't need the RVD stuff. Like, I get why we do it because ECW, you got to do it. But, like, I didn't need it. And I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if Javon got in the wrong corner for the frog splash. Because I saw him, and I'm like, dude, he's like, I get that you're bouncy, but that dude's fucking miles away. You can't hit that.
No.
And he did. Oh, he almost missed it, but he got most of it.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Someone tried to challenge me that he did a splash to the other side of the ring. It wouldn't surprise me if Javon Evans was capable of that. Is it me or is Javon trying to get some more muscle on the sleeve? Yeah. Javon looks like he's bulking up a little. But again, this is the difference between having the indie talent and being on the indie the road all the time with indies, and then going ahead and being in a company and, constantly be doing the work that you do on here. He now has a place where he can work out every day while doing in-ring work and putting on muscle. That's a good thing for him. Muscle's only going to help him get better at all the stuff he does and hopefully prolong his career as long as he doesn't turn into Darby Allin. But I thought this match was fantastic. I love this match. I think for move's sake, it was match of the night. I think the main event was a better match, but I think it's only a better match because of the entire story that's involved in the match. Mm-hmm. Ava's headed to the ring, and she blows off Eddie again because somehow I forgot that he was part of that Rhea Ripley thing from last week. So, and just in case Mel watches on catch up, hold on. Talking about Eddie Thorpe, so. For those of you that forgot what he looks like, this is what Eddie Thorpe looks like. Since he's not on TV anymore, we got to put that up there.
Right.
Ava comes out and announces that I was correct in the first weekend in December. Now, granted, I thought it was going to be Sunday, not Saturday. So Astrid's happy it's a Saturday show.
Watch me working it on that day.
Astrid hates when NXT does the Sunday shows because she works Monday mornings and she doesn't like to do the late night Sunday shows. December 7th, Deadline, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Fine. I mean, I think it's stupid going to anywhere in the north in the middle of December, in the beginning of December, but, fine.
Mhm.
Good idea. Like, Deadline is one of my favorite shows because, as Ava said, the most entertaining.
Poor Eddie.
Poor Eddie. The Iron Survivor is one of the most entertaining 25 minutes of wrestling.
Mhm.
I adore that match. It has the penalty box, which I like from King of the Mountain. Because you can never not mention King of the Mountain when you talk about that match.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But now that we know that we're getting the Iron Survivor, Astrid, give me your picks for who's going to be in the Iron Survivor on the men's side. We'll talk about the women's one later because I think we have a pretty damn good idea who's in the women's Iron Survivor.
Yeah. I feel like, guys, I would see somebody like Ethan because if we get, based on what happened later on, he definitely won't be in the title picture at the moment, at least. I would say maybe Javon, Wes. How many was it? 6, right? I think it was
5.
5. Shoot. Who else? Shoot, I can think of 2 more that are not, like, I guess in the championship right now. Maybe no. I was gonna say maybe a Sean Spears or Brooks, one of the 2. Maybe Sean though. I don't know. I can think of the other 2.
I can think of one that I think might be coming around again. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Yeah, good. I mean, that would be a good one.
Why not? He's not on TNA television right now after losing to Nick Nemeth. He's always said he'll come back.
Ooh, Oba.
And then Obafemi, yeah. That was the other one. I was waiting on that one, but yes, I think Obafemi is the other one.
Yeah.
And Millie, of course, I believe in Joe Hendry. Got to clap. Yeah, and then Stone starts shitting on Philadelphia, as you should, because Philadelphia is terrible in almost every respect. I mean, it's a less good Boston. It has less important history. It has worse sports teams. It has worse sports teams' names. And it has worse food. Like a cheesesteak over seafood? Are you kidding me here? Come on, Philly. Up your game. He starts talking about how New York is better than that. And I'm like, no. No.
Yes.
New York is a cesspool at the very bottom of all of this, Robin. But then he's like, even Boston. I'm like, well, yes, Boston's obviously better. We're more extreme. I mean, when we thought revolution, our idea of revolution was to take tea, perfectly good tea, and just throw it in the water. We didn't have to fight. We just took tea and threw it in the water. That's how cool we are. That's how cool we are.
That's like anticlimactic, though.
No, we took the tea that they were taxing us on and just threw it in the water. We took
I
all
know.
their, threw it away. It's like flushing their profits. It's fantastic. I mean, Robert Stone is from Jersey, and then he got gored by Rhino. And I'm really sad for
Well, no, but the lights turned off first, and then I like his lines like, "Wait, you can't even pay the electricity bill."
Yeah, very, very cheap heat kind of comments. I'm proud of Vic Joseph, and then I was immediately very embarrassed for Vic Joseph because he builds up like he's gonna do the Rhino thing, and then just says gore once. Come on, Vic! You got Rhino, gore. You got to do 3 like Joey Styles. You got to do it. By the way, is Rhino wrestling for anybody right now? Is he under contract in TNA? Oh, okay. I mean, he you know what? He could be in the Iron Survivor.
He just got inducted to the Hall of Fame in TNA.
I know he got inducted, but they induct everybody.
No, they don't.
But they're trying to induct everybody.
I was gonna say that's a different story.
They tried to do AJ Styles this year in WWE.
They tried.
Said no,
They didn't actually.
He is definitely still with TNA. All right, cool. Like, I know he went in the Hall of Fame, but I'm like, well, Ken Shamrock went in their Hall of Fame too. So, like, you know, Let's not put this TNA Hall of Fame like it's one of the best things in the world. Because wasn't the first person to go in Sting? Like, seriously, Astrid, you and I watched TNA way back. Like, I watched TNA from the weekly pay-per-view days. And I know you weren't far off from that because you were going to the Universal Studios shows. When you think of TNA and you're like, the first Hall of Famer from TNA, Sting. That makes sense, right?
I mean, not that bad. It's not a bad choice. But I was like, it makes me think of when I started watching. It's because I also started watching TNA because of Sting, because my dad was following Sting and wanted to see him wrestle, and that was the only way we could watch him because of TNA. But I also think about the aspect that we kept watching because of like a Kurt Angle and a Booker T and a Christian Cage, like all those people that we enjoy watching at that moment that were in the company there too. So that's what to me is not a bad choice. But Mr. TNA to me is AJ Styles. I'm just saying.
But like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like AJ Styles, like obviously I get okay, WWE didn't want him to go in, that's fine, no big deal. But like, if you're thinking of like who embodies TNA, Eric Young, Jeff Jarrett, Christopher Daniels, Kazarian, Samoa Joe for a long period of time. Samoa Joe, yeah,
Kazarian.
Like, Kazarian, I was gonna say I said Kaz when I thought about Chris Daniels. I'm like, well, Kaz too, I guess. Like, hell, Gail Kim. I know she's in now, but like, Gail Kim would have been ahead of Sting in my mind.
Yeah,
you know, Awesome Kong. Like, there are some legitimate names. The beautiful people.
Yeah.
There were no two women in TNA history that were as loved by the fan base for potentially the right reasons as Velvet and Angelina.
Sure.
Come on, it could have been. It wasn't, but it could have been. We have the 5 face women cutting a promo where everybody gets to talk while standing in a row, which was fine. Stephanie Vaquer gets up to do her speech, and she does it in Spanish, and nobody understands. And Kelani apparently speaks Spanish, and she translates.
She did correctly translate it, which I was surprised about. I did like the facial expressions here because Stephanie gets up, she says everything in Spanish, and they're like, "Yeah, sure," and then Kelani translates it like very correctly, which I was surprised about. It's like, no, she said about the women's division making an impact, like from us here in NXT. I was like, and they're like, well, you know, son. She goes, yeah, I did like 3 years in university or whatever. And I was like,
yeah, she did 3 years at the University of like Michigan or Michigan State or something. And I'm like,
I'm very surprised. But you know what? I enjoyed more the footage of them outside of the arena because it just reminded me of the Avengers. And like, in my mind, I was thinking, they show all of them. So I like that footage better than them doing this backstage. But I did like having Lash and Jakara come out talking about being in Saudi. And I think, like I told you, I think they're the first woman under the NXT umbrella to be able to go to the Saudi show. So that's something that I don't think I have had them heard mentioned before, at least this whole weekend. But again,
I believe they mentioned it during the match.
I feel like that's something they should be mentioning a little bit more because it just you don't get that opportunity for being under the NXT umbrella often to be part of the Saudi shows. Like something that's big. So I like them being here, and then I like how the whole girls are all together, but they all just like their targets are Stephanie and Giulia, and I was like, okay, we're gonna get a tag team a little bit longer. Let them cook, please.
Yeah, because we all assumed, like many other people on the dirty sheets, that Metaphor is getting called up. And by the way, I forget who it was. I think it was Mark this weekend. At one point, I told him, he's like, no, I want Lash and Jakara. I'm like, no, if you take Lash and Jakara, you got to take fucking Oro Mensah and Noam Dar too. Because you're not leaving those two jump bozos with us in NXT. No. If you're going to take Lash and Jakara, you take those two bozos too. So yeah, Metaphor versus the Dream Team again. So they're keeping the Stephanie Vaquer versus and Giulia thing going as a tag team a lot longer than I was.
Nope.
Delta and Jordynne at the start popped me for whatever reason. Yeah, having Zaria out there and starting the promo with standing next to Jordynne was fun. I heard her speak, and for some reason I keep forgetting that she's Australian. So I hear her speak, and I'm like, where the fuck did Rhea Ripley come from? Because she even sounds a little like Rhea. Like she's not an exact like voice memo from Rhea, but she's not that far off.
I was gonna say they do come from the same area, so
they do come from the same area. I believe it's Adelaide, South Australia, right?
Yeah.
There we go. 1 point for it. We then get Ego's Ridge taking on Bully's Tricks. I made up nicknames for this tag team because I really couldn't care less about this match. So I'll be honest. I zoned out during this match. Completely and utterly zoned out.
Yep. Until the ending happened.
Which I was surprised by because I didn't realize they'd been going for long enough to get to a finish.
I wanted to get distracted during the commercial break, and it felt like the commercial never ended, and that's when I realized that I had zoned out.
Millie's like, so did I!
I was scrolling, and then I realized I was like, oh, it's about to end. What did I miss?
But by the way, I do want to shout something out because I know he'll watch on catch up since he's not here. Where the fuck is STG?
No idea.
I know he's not sitting there quietly lurking because STG doesn't know how to quietly lurk in any stream.
That's
so
true.
I know he's probably not here right now. So STG, when you see this, hi, where the fuck were you? Anyways, moving on. This was utter boredom. I am so not looking forward. Really, I honestly don't even know what happened in that. I'm so not looking forward to Ridge versus Trick Williams for the NXT Championship. Please, whatever you do not main event fucking Deadline with that. I will not watch it. I will not watch it. I will literally turn Deadline on mute and just wait for the post show to start. By the way, Astrid, we now have a month to set up the guests for Deadline. So up to it.
Okay. Since when do you boss me around, sir?
Since you're the booking agent, and I tell the booking agent to get to work.
No, the booking agent knows her dates and her calendar. She don't need help.
Does she? Does she really? Ridge rolled up Trick out of the middle of nowhere to get the pin. Trick seemed surprised. The commentary team surprised. Ridge seemed surprised that he got to win a match. It was a whole bunch of stuff. And then they were looking for a table and they couldn't find it. And then the music hit again, and I go, oh, look, Horny Devon's coming out. And Ashley told me not to remind her. Suddenly I was like, oh, hey, Devon. Oh, look, Booker's crying. He's no longer an honorary Dudley. Yeah, that was weird. Like, Bubba made... Does Bubba just make random black people nearby Devon Dudley? Like... Is that what happens? Like, he needs his random black friend. So he's like, Booker T, you become Dudley Boy. Trick Williams, you become Dudley Boy. Like, if Devon's up there, does he just pick a random friend? He's like, you look like Devon, you'll work. Look, I'm having fun. I'm joking. These are jokes. They're not serious. I just thought it's funny that he put glasses on two people tonight. And they were both Trick Williams and Booker T. There's a common similarity between these two men. I'll let you all figure out what it is. I've already said it.
Oh gosh. I don't want to know because it's Bubba and I don't care.
Wayne, come on!
Yeah. It's Bubba Ray. I don't want to make sense of it and I don't care either.
We then get Ashante Dion. Dion randomly pops up talking to Ashante the Adonis. Why was Bookman talking to Ashante?
Yes, Dion. Let's do some reading time. It's very important. That's all they're gonna do with this dude at this point. Come on.
He's the reading man.
That's all he does.
But we now know he's Astrid's favorite because all he does is read, and that's what Astrid does during the show too. I know this because she'll send me messages where I'll be like, hey, did you see this, and this in the last match? And she'll go, no, I was too busy reading. During the show.
During commercials, okay.
Not always during commercials. They're talking about all the girls in Ashanti's phone, and Ashanti's like, yeah, but it's not Carmen. And then Carmen walks up and she's all bitchy for whatever reason. Like, she's still talking about something that happened 4 weeks ago.
And she's talking about the match that she cost him, though. That was like 2 weeks ago.
The subconscious disgust on my face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did too. Me and Astrid both tweeted each other, ugh, as this segment was going on.
Why are you wasting Carmen like this? I don't get it. I really don't.
But I do love the, like, toxic masculinity vibes of this. Like, I don't love it because I think it's interesting. I love it because it's so funny that they're giving it to Ashanti the Adonis. This, like, toxic masculinity.
That does not make him any interesting at all. It doesn't help me at all towards him.
No, it really doesn't.
It makes me really drift him off to the end of my list, if anything. If not, and then her was like, "Oh, your birthday was last week. Happy belated." And she goes, "Oh, I remember my birthday."
But he doesn't even, like, say it like he's excited. He's like, "Oh, well, I'm done with you. So, oh, by the way, happy birthday." Like, it's the most backhanded compliment thing. And she, like you said, she eats the fucking shit up. She's like, "Oh my God, he remembered my birthday." And then she looks and Dion's just looking at her like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You were just you were just irritated with him 30 seconds ago for having another chick."
I don't like this enemies to lovers kind of story here. I usually love it in my books. This is not one of them, okay? Erase it. Start all over again. Chef Sean, you're not cooking with this one. Reject.
Oh, we then get the heel ladies cutting their promo where they all talk about how great they are. And I find it very interesting, the words that were used here by both Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade, who were cutting this promo. By the way, I do love that Fallon didn't talk much during this promo. I don't think Jacy said a word. I know for a damn sure that Jazmyn didn't. Did Jacy actually say something?
They all said something. I noticed because I don't know if it was Fallon or Jacy. They were on Roxanne's right from our screen, but then it looks like Roxanne wanted to talk, and I guess she realized that it was either Jacy or Fallon, one of the two was speaking. So you can see like Roxanne opened her mouth, and then she noticed that somebody was talking, and then she like nodded, and then she waited for them to be done, and then she was the last one to speak. Yes, you are better than. Should like this, like the TikTok. You are better than this. That's how we're gonna do.
And by the way, if you do want some great Carmen Petrovic merchandise, there are some Carmen Petrovic merchandise on, I believe it's 501 level for the TWC, the Wrestling Classic. 501 level, they have, so they're a partnership with WWE run by the Wrestling Classic, Justin, who's a fan, he's been on our show before. We adore all his hard work, and he's putting in work with getting merchandise for NXT talent that don't already have merchandise. So if you want to go ahead, and check that out, definitely go out and check out 501 level, I believe it's called. Just go ahead and search the Wrestling Classic and you'll find, is it 500 level? It might be just 500 level instead of 500 level. Yeah, I've been corrected. It is 500 level. I was close. It was only one off. Probably would have auto-corrected you there anyways. So all the heel girls cut a promo. The one thing I think is funny is they're like, look, you've got 2 current champs and 2 former champs. And I'm like, who's the former champs? And I'm like, oh, Jacy. Jacy was a tag team champion. I forgot about this. And then I'm like, who the hell's the other one? I'm like, oh, Cora Jade. Again, former tag team champion that I forgot about. Because Cora Jade was a tag team champion for like 6 days. Just utter fantastic. Ashley's putting something in, instead of just putting it in the chat, she put it in the private chat. So now I'll go ahead and put it in the regular chat.
There you go, Happy.
So there you go. No, I did it too. So now we both did it. But 500level.com is where you can get your authorized WWE NXT merchandise, but for people who don't have content. That's really all I got for this segment too, is that there are 2 champions and 2 former champions, and they believe that everybody wants to be them. I don't think anybody wants to be any of them other than maybe Roxanne.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm sure there's a couple guys that want something to do with Cora Jade, but we'll move on from that thought real quick. Sean Spears has a promo where he talks about going to get Italian food in Orlando next week. Ash, where should he go to get good Italian food in Orlando?
How would I know?
Because you're in Orlando. You're from Orlando.
Yeah, but
Don't you live in Orlando?
Not Italian food. Yeah.
Millie's not happy about it.
Good comment.
I'm assuming that's about the Cora Jade comment, I would imagine.
I'll take him to eat pizza at the New York NYPD pizza place. Does that help?
Sure. I don't know. Look, you're talking to the guy who lives outside of Boston, where there's an entire part of the city that only has Italian restaurants. We have the North End. It's like the little Italian. It's like Little Italy in Boston. And it's just Italian restaurants everywhere.
It's like I tell the Italian guy at work that I eat at Olive Garden, and he gets pissed at me. So
Olive Garden's great, by the way. Just so we're here.
I know.
The Olive Garden's fantastic.
Our joke is that you tell him, as an Italian, you tell him, I went to an authentic Italian restaurant, and he goes, "Oh, where?" And I said, "Olive Garden," and he just starts cursing out. So
well, that's because it's not really authentic.
I know, but it's just fun to piss him off.
Millie eyes Italian food. I'm assuming it's supposed to be a love. There's the love. All right, we got there. Also, Logan, because we didn't post it the first time, and he's talking about a show that's not WWE. Apparently, Mina Shirakawa is coming back to AEW again. Again, Logan, I will direct you to Friday nights on our local establishment at 10 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, where you can go ahead and see the Japanese Wrestling Update, where they talk about things like Mina Shirakawa appearing on AEW. Why do I know they'll do that? Because it's Andre's favorite fucking wrestler in the world. So I know they're going to talk about it.
And because Mel got approved by her to be in Club Venus.
Yes, there is a clip of that as well. Also because we don't give a shit about AEW, to be perfectly honest with you.
Wait, we sounds like a lot of people. I watch it sometimes. I know you don't.
Well, I definitely don't watch it. The only time I ever watch AEW is when I'm watching Mike the Ref. You can follow Mike the Ref on Twitch at twitch.tv/Mike the Ref. And Bobby has an important announcement coming up about Mike the Ref in the future. So we'll get back to that later. Speaking of all the heavy promos, they put them all in a row here because we had Lexis King talking to William Regal about, I'm sorry I couldn't use the brass knucks. He's like, that's okay, chap. It's fine. You're proving that you're not the guy you used to be. And I'm like, fuck. I don't like this. They're turning him heel. They're turning him face. For no reason, they're turning this fucker face.
I can't breathe.
Like, he wasn't doing well as a heel, so their options are, well, let's turn him babyface. No, we're not going to cheer for him then either. We don't like him, period. It's not going to matter if he's babyface or heel. If you want people to cheer for Lexis King, send him TNA. Why will people cheer? Because it won't be me watching it. I'll be cheering. We also then get Regal talking to Charlie Dempsey. By the way, why was Charlie Dempsey so fucking red?
That was after the match. They said it was last week.
Oh, they said it was last week? I thought it was this week. I thought it was just random shit happening on the show.
No, they said this was after the match last week. So it's funny. Because he's right after the match ended. And he's with the Candy Crew. And he's like, well, he's not like his father's son. Are you like your father's son? Are you? And he's like, only time we'll tell. And I was like... By the
way, can we not talk about Ren Sinclair being fucking starstruck this was Ren Sinclair the entire time.
Regal's in my presence.
I know, like she's like standing like 2 inches away from Regal. She's just got this fucking glassy-eyed. Like, I get it. William Regal's cool. I get it. He's probably. I don't understand why he would be an idol to her, but sure, go ahead. I get it. Like, whatever. Well, no, because like
I mean, I was gonna say he's one of those people like Finlay and even TJ that's really been somebody about pushing the women, so maybe that's why.
I agree, but like, it just seems weird. Like, where would there's no time and place where they would have ever like come in contact with each other. So it's just kind of weird. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm making fun of Ren Sinclair in the best way possible. I love Ren Sinclair. I thought she was great in this. I just thought it was so funny that that's all she did the entire segment. But she was just in awe of William Regal. And then William Regal tells Baby Orton and Tavion Heights that they got to go ahead because this is all of their group and not just Charlie's group. And I'm like, it looks like we're going to get William Regal leading the Candy Crew. What would William Regal's candy name be? Remember, we used to have the Oompa Loompa was Damon Kemp before he got released, and then we have Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, and I haven't come up with one. I haven't come up with one for Baby Orton, and I need to come up with Tavion Heights. What would William Regal's candy name be? Let us know in the comments below.
That sounds like a weird question.
It does, but hopefully it'll get people to comment stupid stuff about candy names for William Regal.
If we didn't have British candy.
If we didn't have enough goddamn fucking promos in here, we had a Nikita Lyons promo. By the way, guys, guess what? She turned heel. Okay, moving on. We get next week on NXT, we got Kelani Jordynne taking on Fallon Henley for the North American Women's Championship in a rematch. Why is this happening at Deadline that we just goddamn announced? We literally just announced a pay-per-view. Why is this match not happening on the goddamn pay-per-view?
No idea. I don't like it either.
By the way, apparently I skipped Tony versus Nunzio. Tony won. End of story. Moving on. We also get the aforementioned Rizzo versus Nikita Lyons match. The match took about as long as I said to explain it. It took about that long.
It just made me laugh. I like Tony getting that moment with Nunzio though at the end. It just like I like how he hugged him and then he went to his own. He's like, come on, let's all hug each other.
You'll have to define which promo. If it was the Nikita Lyons promo, probably. Like I thought it was an effective promo, but we're not talking about Nikita Lyons on this show anymore. I'm even going. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna do it right now on the air.
I think it was only interesting that she said, "Oh, I know what it's like to be attacked, but this time I'm the one doing the attacking sort of thing."
Yeah,
so
that was cool.
I like that aspect.
Yeah, fun, interesting premise. I like it.
Yeah.
And we're also getting qualifying matches for the Iron Survivor starting next week. So we'll start seeing who's going to be in the Iron Survivor starting next week. And then we get our main event match, which I was like, really
You missed Ava with Axiom and Axiom?
Oh, I don't care. They're doing a tag team thing next week. It doesn't matter. Axiom's taking the week off. Nathan's taking the week off and he walks away. And it pisses off Axiom. Do you want to talk more about the tag team thing?
No, it's okay.
Hold on. I'm going to get a video. I'm going to get a picture for you. Hold on one second.
Uh-oh. A picture.
No, wait. I don't have it anymore. Never mind. I was going to put up a picture of the PNG of them as tag team champions here so you can just look at them for a couple seconds. No, Ava came out and she said that she was glad that she saw them, that she's going to address all the tag teams next week. And they were like, so do we have to be here? And she's like, no, I'll just let you know when you have a challenger. And I'm like, great. That means a Battle Royal's coming. We have no idea what to do with the tag team division. We're going to have a Battle Royal, aren't we?
Yep. That's always the answer.
Aw, sad Astrid. And then we move on to the main event, which will make happy Astrid. Now, I was very excited for this when I saw that it was like 9:28 and they were doing entrances for this match. And then Terrible Toxic Trio got a group entrance. And then Cora and Roxanne got their own entrances. And then every single member of the babyface team got their own solo entrance. So what ended up, I was like, oh, cool, they're going to give them like 20, 30 minutes to really cook. Got cut to 10. I was so excited because I thought they were going to get like this a bunch of time to do this match. And I was like, wow. No, 10 minutes.
No, so I think it was like about 9:36 when I had seen some of them had started. I was like, oh, great, they're giving them like 20 minutes. And I was like, and then everybody came out and I was like, dang. By the time the commercial happens, shoot, it's like 10 or 15. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. But I will say it was a banger match anyways. It was a really fun match. And the finish surprised me. Because I, like Astrid, thought that Giulia was going to pick up the win to set up the triple threat match or the fatal four-way match at at Deadline. I have an idea about this match coming up at Deadline.
Giulia wins Iron Survivor.
No.
Hmm.
I think for the first time ever. No, maybe. I think so. For the first time ever, they're going to do the Iron Survivor for the championship.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Women's Iron Survivor is going to be for the title. And it's going to be Roxanne Perez defending against Cora Jade, Giulia, Stephanie, and Zaria.
You're cooking. Continue.
Like, think about that, because like Stephanie and Zaria now have legitimate reasons to say that they deserve a championship match.
Yep.
They've pinned the champion. And in wrestling rules, if you pin the champion, you get a championship match. Mm-hmm. So that leaves Giulia and Cora, who can obviously have qualifying matches against Jacy Jayne, Kelani Jordynne, Jaida Parker, anybody like that.
I was going to say this also kind of continues that story that Ava, every time Ava puts like, something in the way for Roxanne to lose that championship and never does. And it would make sense for her to lose it here when there's so many other people involved. I feel like it protects her in the end. And I'm like, somebody like Cora could get pinned. And I feel like she can recover while this could be one of Roxanne's things on her way out. So,
yeah. Again, and yes, as you're right, Millie, individual matches right into a commercial break. There were so many great spots in this match. This match was full of fantastic spots, but they weren't spots just for spots' sake. They made sense in the story of the match, unlike back to the beginning of the show, spots for spots' sake in the hardcore match, because hardcore, we got to do hardcore stuff. I love this. Great. I love this. If this had gotten 20 minutes, I think it would have delivered. I think it did perfectly fine with 10. I don't think they were shortchanged in any way, shape, or form by only having 10 minutes. It could have been a better match at 20. It could have been probably a better match at 15. But I think with 10 minutes, it didn't feel rushed, and it felt like everybody got their shit in without anybody really looking weak. Which is important, because oftentimes you make people look weak in a match like this. But I think with the finisher spam sections that you can really have in this, like you did, I think there's a lot of fun stuff that you can do, including Zaria getting out of that pop rocks was really fun. She almost dumped her out of the ring. Little itty bitty Roxanne almost fell out of the ring when Zaria slid her off the back. No, I thought this was great. Astrid, go ahead and yes. Zaria stopped me the tag with how she did. Fallon losing her shit. Lonnie flying with all the muscle behind her. Stephanie looked great.
It's like, again, I like the team here of Giulia and Stephanie. I like how they're developing that, even though in a way it's going to be like short-lived because the title's going to be on the line so between all of them. But still, it's like I like what we're getting from both of them right now. I think it was also funny because at one point, I think it was Kelani that tagged in Jordynne for like a hot tag sort of spot. And she, like, it went like this. Shh. She didn't even touch her hand. And then Jordynne was like, do I go in? Do I not go in? So it took her a moment. She still went in because she knew she had to go in at that moment. So it was kind of funny seeing that. But again, the way like the Cora doing that kind of like, I don't want to call it a moonsault, but like her like throwing herself onto the girls outside, and then Roxanne picking her up. I was like, we got this. And then when they get in the ring there, and we get Jordynne and Zaria, and then Roxanne there, when they do have that back and forth, that Zaria has Roxanne at her shoulder. She uses Roxanne to kick Cora out of the apron. But then you get that Zaria disappears to Jordynne and takes her out. And then you see Roxanne in the background just like smiling, that kind of evil laugh of seeing that like them kind of like destroying each other in that type of way. But I also like these spots that they do with the women. They do often. It's like that there's somebody from each team. They go after each other and they do like their signature moves to like get a spotlight on them. And I like that in this match as well. But and then I like how we got Jakara and Lush coming out. Giulia doesn't even take a second to think about it. She goes after Jakara, and then Stephanie goes after Lash. It's like we know that's gonna be happening sometime soon as well. But yeah, I feel like overall, I feel like everybody got a moment to really shine and really show themselves, which is the important part. Like I said, I enjoyed the match. I would have loved it if it was a little bit longer, just to see a little bit more from the team after having this like Avengers kind of assemble sort of match happening. But overall, I enjoyed it. Really glad that it was happening. I was just shocked at the ending because, like I was saying, I was thinking before the match ended, I messaged you and I said Giulia's gonna pin Roxanne. That was my mindset, thinking this is how she's gonna get her title shot. And then to see Zaria pin her, I was like, this is very surprising. Of all the people in the match, the 5 people in her court, she's the one that gets pinned. But again, very fun, and I really enjoyed everything from here. I'm glad the women were the openers of the show and the main eventers as well.
Yeah, I thought the women were focused on highly on tonight, and you kept hearing them say the best women's division in professional wrestling, because with the exception of Stardom, they really are the best women's division in all of professional wrestling. And again, I'll give Stardom that coup because they're only women's division, so how can they not be the best women's division in professional wrestling? But NXT is quickly coming up and making a case for that as well. Absolutely best in North American women's wrestling. It was fantastic. Roxanne still in the ring with Jordynne standing over at the end was a great image. I thought it was funny that Roxanne chooses just not to roll out and Jordynne just stands on top of her. It was great. I also want to shout out our man DC Hendricks from bodyslam.net putting out on Twitter tonight. Both the NXT men's champion and the NXT women's champion were both pinned in their tag team matches tonight. It's a cool stat. Something fun to see. But we've come to the end of our show. Astrid, what do you got coming up this week? I'll ask you the question I always ask. Ladies Wrestling Showcase?
I'm done with your question, by the way. Anyway, nothing else for the moment, at least. Taking some sweet time for myself, okay? Been busy. But yes, other than that, you can find me on my Twitter, Blue Sky is astridpizarro, Instagram and Threads, astridpizarro20. If you're here, you're probably watching on my YouTube channel, so if you haven't yet, hit subscribe and click on that bell to be notified when I upload or go live. And hit a like on the video and the OLE one too. But yeah, really excited because I definitely know I have in mind the people for deadline, so I'm really excited to reach out to them and hopefully they get to join us.
You can find me on Twitter at edfries12584. You can find me on the Twitter, twitch.tv/edfries2002. OLED week has finally come to an end. Thank fucking God. That was exhausting.
He likes to be booked and busy, but they complain when he's booked and busy.
I do. I do complain about the things that I tell people that I want to have. But no, if you want to catch up on all of the shows from the last week, there are some fun stuff in there. You can go ahead and catch me moderating the quiz on what the fuck do we know about wrestling pub trivia, where we had a heel turn on Ring Respect Radio. You got to find out who turned heel on Ring Respect Radio. How did Kimmy do? She told everybody that she was going to win. How well did Kimmy Sokol do on Halloween Havoc trivia? And Sting was there. Auntie Sting, but Auntie Sting was there.
Poor
so make
Kimmy.
sure you go ahead and catch that out. You can also go ahead and catch me and Mark talking all things Crown Jewel as we go ahead and do the post show for the Crown Jewel show. And of course, you can find me with Andre for Marvel Talk last week, and you can find us pre-recorded form next Wednesday night right here at this time slot. You can find us next week at this time slot. We're going to be pre-recorded. We're going to do an MCU rebound episode of Civil War. So if you want to understand what's going on, at some point this week, watch Civil War, and then you can go ahead and be in the chat. You can go ahead and chat with us. I will probably be in the chat anyways, so I'll be able to go ahead and answer your questions, even though we won't be answering them on the screen because obviously we'll have pre-recorded it. But we hope that you still come and join us as well anyways. Thank you, Millie, for joining us. We always appreciate when you were here. We also want to shout out you for, I believe, no, it wasn't your birthday. It was Allison K's birthday, right? I saw a bunch of birthday stuff from you, and I thought it was your birthday. Now I'm remembering it was Allison K's birthday. But anyway, shout out Millie on Twitter. Anyway, she's fantastic. I always like seeing all the fun stuff that you post on Twitter. But for myself, for the queen of our local establishment, the Nastral, Hollywood Astrid herself, we have been here, and this has been taking over. See you next time. Bye.
I am in misery.